In the rusty family, two dogs on a mission. Television gold, ain't no intermission. Wild antics, blanks got the crowd all wishing. Laughter's currency, big fame, the commission. Rusty in the corner, players wild and whack. Tim in the front, comedy never lack. Studio chaos, keep them all on track. Smash hit moments, all stripping from the mat. Tim and Rusty run the show, ain't no stopping. Every episode, side splitting, jaw dropping. Laughs on tap, steady beat, steady knocking. Fame train rolling, never gonna be flopping. Tim spitting jokes like a pro magician's wand. Rusty bringing back up, both tight like a bond. Audience cracking up from dusk until dawn. Comedy duo, yeah, that's the unbreakable bond. Shenanigans break the fourth wall, candid confessions. Each episode a lesson in laughter professions. From pratfalls to epic rants, never second lessons. Tim and Rusty reign supreme laughter.
Miss Julie Steele keeping Austin Cruz in his place. The matriarch of the RWF. And I say that finally. She's not an elderly woman. She's just everybody's mama. She makes everybody act right one way or another. She don't mind getting involved in these matches, and if, she'll take the bump if she needs to, but she's perfectly capable of giving one. This is a weapons match. Does that mean there's no rules per se? Chase said to ring the bell. This is LBK, the man in the white shirt. Man in the black shirt is Matt Starr. Your referee, Colton. No, who is this? Who's the referee?
Chase Manning.
Chase Manning. Chase Manning, the man in the stripes. On the outside of Matt Starr is Landon Bradley. Austin Cruz, friends over feelings, or rather future over feelings and future over friends. And on the
Colorado locked up in the middle of the ring, and LBK taking advantage of that arm of Matt Starr.
And already pointed out Julie Steele on the outside with LBK's corner.
So weapons are used. Is a hair pulling should it be illegal?
That's what I'm not sure. You can use weapons.
Oh, a poke in the eyes, that's a finger. That's a weapon.
No, he said he can't do it, so okay. I guess Chase knows the rules.
Then you have to get the weapon from the fans.
He is one of our senior officials, so. So, with this weapons match, can they go outside?
I hope not. The camera's the ring.
Outside the ring. Beautiful drop kick.
The hot stepper.
Folks, I'm probably not going to give official 10s this match because that's all we do. Both these men know how to do these high-flying maneuvers. There's a tail shot. And I hope it's a gut shot.
Yes.
Both of them know how to do the high-flying, high-risk, but they also, both LBK and Matt Starr know how to be brutal, know how to stretch a rule, know how to use a weapon. Into the steps. One of Kid Scorpion's kinfolk brought that sign. Oh, it's like, when you hit him.
He tried to kill him.
Killed his hands instead. When you hit a ball with a bat and the bat cracks. Dropped LBK right on that apron. And Matt got that sign back. It's not going to be good. It says speed limit 30 minutes. Speed limit 30, rather. Oh, LBK got out of that. Kick, DDT. Planted, Matt Starr. Head right up. He is out of it. We got a 1, a 2, and a 2. LBK's hands are still hurting for where he hit the boards of that step. You know, Tim Miner, we usually think,
I think I re-injured my shoulder.
I'm so sorry.
I'm about ready to injure this.
I think LBK re-injured Matt Starr's head with that standing DDT. Drop a knee. We usually think in terms of Matt Starr doing all these weaponry things, but LBK is very capable. Let's not forget, he was trained and raised up in the T.J. Weatherby School of Wrestling and saw wrestling. He knows how.
Hey, the speed limit's 30.
Reversal.
Oh. I don't think they were doing the speed limit.
Exceeded it.
Where did they get that sign?
One of Scorpion's kinfolk brought it.
Good thing Rico's not here tonight. He would have arrested him.
I told him, that could be a very stiff fine.
That we found in my apartment.
Yeah, we air quote found.
I did.
You did. I think I was there when you found it, or shortly thereafter.
Like when I first lived there, it stayed up there for 9 years before I ever got it down.
It's still up there?
No, we brought it down. It's here as a weapon, but it's not.
Oh, they didn't use it. What's he doing? Oh, that's what he's doing. I'm sitting here asleep. Why, Matt misdirected me perfect on that. So I got to give Colton Manning a little slack. Chase Manning. I don't know where I'm getting this Colton stuff. There's some blood, it looks like. Chase is putting on his gloves. LBK's opened up. Ooh. Did you see the ease that Matt did that? Oh. Going to put a leg over his neck and choking on the rope. Julie's just been wanting to hit somebody all night.
I think she
Beautiful
should
misdirection here.
Maybe she will hit Austin Cruz.
He's aching for a shaking, that's for sure. Cruising for a bruising. The matriarch would like to turn her over his knee and give him a whooping. She'd like to whoop that trick. She probably would. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm breaking my rule. That was a 10. I wasn't going to do that in this match.
LBK is bleeding.
I haven't seen him do that very much. He usually avoids it. They can't catch him. Beautiful move. That flying sort of across body or double axe handle.
2 count.
2. It's interesting how Chase immediately pulled out some gloves and put them on. That's sort of the rule, though, from my understanding. The referee has to. Oh. LBK had a little attitude there.
Yeah, but he lost his attitude real quick.
And then he got it adjusted. Maybe he should have not spent some time giving the DX thing to future over friends, over family, whatever feelings, all those F's. Anywhere. But
to the midsection.
Far be it from me to tell LBK how to wrestle. Oh. 5.
block. Up and over. Oh, across the back. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
He turned him inside out.
Oh, I'm trying not to give 10s, but that was a brutality 10. Because you give them almost everything they do. So, we've watched LBK for years, but we lost him for a while. And we were down at Centerville, and I'd forgotten.
I guess Matt started things because he was flexing. It should have been a pinfall.
It should have been pinning. That lackadaisical 1 foot two does not get you a pinfall. And you can never give LBK a second to recover. Not a second. Oh, Tim Miner. LBK going to the top. I know he likes to do these high-risk moves, but he should have not wasted the time. Because, once again, you can't give Matt Starr time to recuperate either. Matt should have carried on through here. Whoa! That swinging off the rope DDT. It hurt both men, though. Listen to this crowd. LBK. Beautiful, beautiful. I love to watch him work. It just seems so easy. Swing a neck breaker. That's those two bulldog type moves. We could have had a 3, but Landon. No, he kicked out. I thought Landon pulled him off.
Landon's all the way on the other side of the ring.
He was reaching for him.
He probably would try to pull him off.
Yeah. You didn't see him up there grabbing hold of Chase's foot? Give him a little foot massage? Once again, not to take away from this, but you formed another dream team tonight, and it involves Jason Xavier. Him and Xavier Michaels, that could be an unbeatable team. That's going to hurt. Insult to injury. Here we go. Oh! That Star's been there and done that before on both ends. He's had it done to him and he's done it. Which I'm not sure. This may be over. Chase Manning right on top of the action. Matt Starr got off after our cameraman, Brian Burkon. Here we go, up to the top. Now, if you'll remember, earlier, to add to this injury, this isn't good. I don't know who's going to do it. Going to fight it out here. There's a move you don't often see from LBK, a headbutt. He found purchase with that move. In comes Austin.
Oh, I thought he couldn't work.
Is it a DQ?
No, don't ring the bell. He didn't call for it. Look out.
The 2 count.
I guess he used Austin as a weapon.
He is a weapon, but I thought he wasn't cleared to wrestle. You need to get him out of there. Come on, don't. There you go.
I'm going to tell you what.
So Julie needs to go take care of business. What?
We have had a great show tonight.
Really? I'm not disappointed.
Every time. Hardly damn. We exceed expectations. Oh!
No offense to anybody, but I'd rather see these two guys anytime, anywhere, any place.
That's twice
every night.
That's got to be a 3 here.
You got to do something about this, Tim Mike.
Oh, when you go tag him?
Yeah, go in there. Do some of that. LBK can't be. Come on, Julie. Hit somebody that golf club. Oh. I've got the feeling.
It's over.
No, I got the feeling LBK's going to win. Oh, is this for the contendership too? See, there you go, Julie. There you go, Julie. She's going to rack him on that.
Hit him, Julie. Hit him, Julie.
Hey. You need to do something. Red Rover. Send LBK right over. Boom.
LBK coming through the ropes.
Julie came through. She did her part. She got all 3 of them. This is Julie's night. She gets, that's a 10, Julie. And LBK. Well, BK still got the bad end of that.
Well, they held his feet. He couldn't move.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match by pinfall, Matt Starr.
They held Julie back.
Welcome to the Tim and Rusty Show right here on a rainy Sunday night. We're glad to come with you tonight, come alongside of you. Hope you enjoyed that match. Like I said on the commentary there, I could watch these guys every week, every day of the week. 2 of the finest competitors in independent wrestling, and even far beyond that. So in the March Madness, my march to greatness, I've been number 1 in our brackets, our TMTV March Mayhem, is that what we call it, bracket? For March Madness bracket for quite a while. And for about 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden I'm about to lose because Andy, not Andrew and not Drew, but Andy, he is one of the members of our group, and he looks like he plays basketball or wide receiver.
He did play college basketball at community college.
Okay. Anyway, he is about to overtake me if Florida wins. I picked Duke to win the whole thing.
Well, I did too.
Over Florida. So,
I picked Florida and Duke, and I picked Duke to win it all, but I am a North Carolina Tar Heel fan. So when Duke lost, I loved it. I cheered, even though I picked Duke to win it all. But I couldn't win the tournament anyway because there's no way I was catching up to you because we picked the same thing. So if Duke won, I was still going to come in at least second, underneath you. I'm going to be able to win.
mm-hmm.
Now, we need Houston to win the national championship. Then you can still win your tournament. because nobody else picked Houston to win the national championship.
That's true.
But if Florida wins, Andy is going to win.
The vast majority of experts out there that I did research on, they picked Duke, and the who didn't pick Duke picked Florida. And like you said, did anybody pick Houston? Houston probably picked Houston.
Well, I was back.
Your coach is slapping himself.
Back in
Am
my
I
bedroom, laying in my bed, watching the game. I kind of dozed off. It was Duke was ahead by 9 points with about 2 minutes to go, and I'm thinking, well, this is over with. It's going to be Duke and Florida. At least I got that right. And I nodded off, asleep, and all of a sudden I woke back up, and there's 30-something seconds to go, and it's a 3-point game. I'm like, wait a second, what has happened here? Houston had come back.
I was watching it. It was, matter of fact, is that last 3 minutes was extremely exciting, and the same thing happened the night before, or the game before, with Auburn and Florida, except Auburn didn't come back. But that last 3 minutes just got real intense and exciting, but they couldn't overcome the deficit. What a game. So, Andy, if I get beat by you, I will concede then after Duke loses. But, after Houston, if Houston loses, I'll concede. You're a worthy opponent and know far more about this stuff than I do. But anyway.
Okay, so the match you saw Matt Starr and LBK. I thought I had shown it already. I do apologize to certain wrestlers who was waiting to see that match because I promised that I would show it the week after I showed the run-in. I did show the end of the match before on the run-in when Larry Cooter came in and attacked
It was actually Mrs. LBK who really insisted, why are you not showing this? And it's like, oh.
And when we rated on that show, I said, we'll show that match in its entirety the following week. Well, that was 3 weeks ago, and for some reason, it just...
We showed the X-Men, and we showed...
but we got it on there.
Yeah. That was great. It is worth the wait.
Once again, we do not have a show here in April. April would have been the 19th, but the same weekend, it would have been Easter weekend. It's also the weekend of WrestleMania. And Rusty's going to be busy on 420.
Yeah, whatever that is. Anyway. Well, think about the 3 matches from our last show in March that you have shown on our live stream show, Tim and Rusty show. Look at them. You had this tag team with Drew and Landon taking on Mike Cobb and JDV. What more could you ask for? And this, unless you wanted some big hulking guys in there, that was just total nonstop action with that. And then prior with that, we showed the X-Men, Jason Xavier. Tim just went over and slapped Luke. He slapped Luke right in the face.
No, Luke's not here tonight, but...
Well, it's a good thing he got slapped in the face.
There's been a big horsefly flying around my apartment in the last 4 or 5 days, and I had not been able to kill it. And I saw it landed on my thing over there. I got him that time.
It probably hatched out on that day that it was 84, Thursday, I think it was. So you been having horses up here.
No, a horsefly.
I didn't know horses can fly. Anyway, then besides the you had the X-Men, Xavier Michaels and Jason Xavier with Ryan. What more could you ask for? Oh man, and like I've said several times now, I don't know if it'll happen or if it could happen, will happen, probably won't happen, but they hugged it out. And matter of fact, Xavier Michaels came to Jason Xavier's rescue, but what a tag team they would make. And then, of course, now LBK, Lightning Bolt Kid, and Matt Starr, 2 R's.
Great match there. That was really a good match. I've watched it 3 times today. I edited it earlier today, and while I was editing, I watched it. And then after it rendered down, after editing, I watched it again, and I just watched it for the 3rd time. But that's one of those matches you can watch over and over again.
If you just had those 3 matches, we wouldn't need to have anything else. And yet you've got 4 more matches yet to come.
I have matches from SWA Wrestling when we were at the National Guard Army at different places that I only watched one time. That was the time when it was live. I never watched it when I edited it. I just,
And they were dynamic matches.
And but there's matches that people come to me and say, "How was my match?" It was great. But
Ask me
that's
that
only
night.
what I remember that night.
Well, that's true. That's when I usually don't rewatch them,
Well, 'cause
except
there's
when
been
we're
so many
writing the
matches.
newsletter to find out
There's so
what.
many matches that and so many videos that I have. People don't understand. I have drives. Like the one I have on this new computer back here. It is I think it's a 8 terabyte drive.
Wow, 1 tera. I've been
I've
saving
already
stuff
got-
for 10 years on one
I've got
terabyte.
a 5 terabyte drive that's on my other computer in my bedroom area, and it's almost full. Then I've got another terabyte
Oh,
drive
you
that
do a
is
lot
full
of video.
because it's a lot of video it's got video back to SWA days, 2004, 2005 on up.
See if you sometime when
And
you
I
have
can't go searching for all your matches if you're a wrestler.
sometime when you have time, see if you can find one of those big cage matches. That
Yeah.
maybe that
Now I do have some
Kid
wrestlers that
Scorpion
come
was
to
in
me.
and Tim Scruggs was in.
I do have some wrestlers come to me and say, "Hey, can you get some of my matches from the past?" And they don't know the dates of them. Well, I don't know the dates of them. I don't have, and I've got so many videos and I've got every wrestler's video, so it's not like I can just go in and say, "Oh, yeah, here it is." It would take me a week to find a particular match going through all my footage. I don't have that kind of time to do that.
Just for instance, I only did this for Matt Starr. Don't anybody else get any ideas? But I went back and because got all his PWA matches for the past 24 and all of his RWF matches and put them on a drive. That took me hours.
Oh yeah, it takes you
It
time.
took about 3 hours.
Now you know how it
because I got to
is.
look for them, then I got to scroll through.
Yeah, now you see how it's. I've been
And-
doing this for like 20-something
and I
years.
don't have hundreds of videos like you.
More than hundreds. It could be thousands. It's talking about 7 or 8 matches a night
And speaking
over
of which,
25 years.
go to
period.
Tim's YouTube page if you want to watch wrestling, and you can just watch for a week nonstop.
Oh yeah, that has a
24/7
lot of the old
page.
stuff too. There,
Yeah, that's where you watch.
I need to start putting our newest stuff on there and just making a section for RWF.
Yeah.
so we can get it on there.
But anyway, this match, I'm just very thrilled with that. I was thinking back. We've known LBK. I commented on in that match since he was 18 of the TJ Weatherby, the Saul USWO era, and anyway, he was just that good when he started, and we lost him for a few years. Then we found him down in Centerville. I didn't know who he was. Forgot who he was. You were telling me, and I even got his wrong initials. He still laughs at me about that. And then we've known Matt and Nate since they were babies.
Oh, we knew them, yeah, as
little kids.
when they're
in the-
coming to wrestling shows as bands.
yeah, and we got on one of those shows
Austin
we were watching.
Cruz.
They're walking across in front of us. About
We've known Austin Cruz since he was in the
oh
crowd.
yeah, just since he was a baby. He never was a little baby, I don't think. But anyway,
No,
not a
he-
chunk. The
I'm a
human
big
wrecking
baby.
ball. Anyway, he's just something to deal with and can move so athletically. It's just amazing.
Of course, a lot of my video footage I've got from years ago of SWA is still on VHS tape. I had a way to move that over to the computer, but then that thing stopped working right. So I still got them on VHS tape.
And that still takes a bunch of time.
Oh yeah,
You have to play it. And those were 3-hour shows?
yeah.
That's just play the whole show at once. Of course, that might be a way of doing that if you ever wanted to transfer it over to put that whole show on a, Of course, you had that. No, before then you didn't have them. When you did it on VHS, it was just VHS. It wasn't
DVD.
MP4s.
But today, the last few years has been pretty easy because I just take it on my little memory card, put it over to my computer, and it's there. And I've got it titled, so I can have all my RWF 2023s are together, 2024s are together, 2025. So if you know what year it is and what month it is, it's easy to find.
Some of you guys out there you got the VHS tapes and you got the DVDs through the years. So you've got your matches. You post them. You send them to Tim, or you send them to Rusty, or you send them to James. Let's get these things going on. We'd like to see LBK when you were in your early 20s. We'd like to go back and see Larry Cooter. We got him on VHS, but we don't have him on DVD. We'd like to see young Larry Cooter.
I don't think I have him on VHS. I might somewhere.
We had him in SWA.
He was in SWA, but I don't remember when. So it may be DVD.
I remember him. He had longer hair. It is about that size.
Because I went from VHS to DVD while we were in Lafayette. I think he came when we were in Lafayette. I don't think he came when we were in.
Anyway, you got some of these. I'd like to see some of those older matches. Like, go to some of these wrestlers' Facebook pages too, and you can scroll down and you can find stuff for their YouTube channels. Jason Xavier's got a bunch of his matches from all over on YouTube, his YouTube channel. So, Tim Miner, can I ask you a basketball question? I'm not the swiftest person in the world, particularly on this subject. I'm gifted in certain areas, but nobody cares about those areas. But the basketball draft, they're talking about Cooper. What is his last name? Do you remember from the Duke, the one that's so good? He's 17, just turned 18. And there's 2 more freshmen on that team too. Wow. Should he face the draft now or should he not? There's a talk about a shoe deal. If he gets some kind of big money deal while he stays in college, he should not go pro. He should, I don't think. I think he
Flag is
Cooper Flag. I think, excuse me, my nose itches. I think he should go. I want to make sure you didn't think I was picking it. I'm not above picking my nose either. And you all pick your nose. Anyway, you pick your friends.
Okay,
you pick your friends. But you can't pick,
okay.
You can't pick your nose. You can't pick your friends. Anyway, how does that? He could be the number 1 draft pick if he decides to go because one and done. But then should he? And then if he does, it's the luck of the draw. But how does it work?
Well, the draft, the teams that do not make the playoffs, they are all put into a lottery. The worst team gets more lottery balls than the next worst team gets one less, and it's all the way back. Like one team will have 1 ball in there, the next will have 2, the next will have 3. So the team with the worst record has the better chance of being drawn out for the number 1 pick overall. But there's a possibility that team that only has 1 entry in there could be the team that gets the number 1 overall pick. So the worst team doesn't necessarily get the number 1 pick overall. It's all based on a lottery. I do not like that. I think the worst team should have the number 1 pick.
We disagree.
Well, that's
you know my
be.
feelings because you go to the NFL and you will put the number 1, number 2, number 3 draft picks. They go to the 3 worst teams, and they may or may not. Sometimes it can determine their whole future. Look at Trevor Lawrence. He's down in Jacksonville. He should have gone to the Vikings or somewhere where he could have gone to the playoffs and Super Bowl. He's obviously at the time was the best. He was supposed to be the new Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning or whatever, and he is not. He's not even been the lower tier. He's not even been Minshew yet. It's like Gardner Minshew's got as good a record as he does when he got to start. Anyway, I just don't like that whole aspect of putting great team on a loser.
Okay, so if the worst team doesn't get the number 1 pick, so they stay the worst team. It's not fair to them. What's your answer for the team that's you? So you think the team that's the worst team should always be there?
Well, that's a point.
Why should they always be the worst team?
They should get a good coach.
Well,
they should get a good GM.
It doesn't matter. How's a good GM going to even help if a good GM would number 1 would draft a good quarterback number 1 overall? So I mean, and if they're not getting and the pick's not there when it's time for them to pick, then how are they? It doesn't matter if they're a good GM or not. You get what's left over.
You're probably right.
I'm exactly right.
But at the same time, it's not fair to these players.
The players are going to make millions of dollars anyway, so it is fair to the players.
They on that rookie contract. What is it? A couple of million a year, maybe.
Yeah, but hey, I'd play for half that.
The $400,000. If you make $400,000 a year for 4 years, you should be set.
I heard that
you should never have to work again at the end of your 4 years.
Who was it that someone was? Was it Chris Jericho?
There's a difference in 2 million and 10 million, or 2 million and 20 million, 2 million and 40 or 60 million.
Well, Chris Jericho was talking about how WWE changed their pay structure and everything after he left to go to AEW. He said, but before then, the highest number total they'd give you on paper would be $1 million a year. That was Vince's number, $1 million a year. You know, all
And
your
that-
contract, $1
that's a
million
good-
a year.
that's a
Doesn't
good
matter who
number.
you were. The most he's going to do is $1 million a year. Now it's jumped up to where anywhere from $20 million a year to $30 million a year, probably for
You
the
think
Rocks
that's
and people like that.
think that's because Triple H
Well, it's because
is in charge of
they
it
don't.
now?
They did not want AEW taking in their talent, who was going to offer
And
more money.
I was thinking you got people like Triple H who played for that $1 million or wrestled for that $1 million a year when he should have been making.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, he got the company, so I guess he made out, but he might feel more.
Well, who's got the company now?
Well, it's owned by the people who own the UFC, or partially owned by them. Dana White, who is the president, but it's still owned by partially. My understanding is owned by WWE as well, and it's
Was that Vince McMahon?
Triple
or Linda
H.
McMahon,
Triple
or-
H and Stephanie run it, but no, I don't know. I don't never know about Vince McMahon if things they say about him is true or if it's kayfabe or whatever.
Isn't he getting close to 90 years old?
He's got to be 80, I'm sure. Well, Linda McMahon, she is the Secretary of Education, and she was the Secretary in President Trump's previous administration. Not to talk politics, but if that offended you, we did our
we
job.
don't care.
Did our job. Remember with back in the good old days when we sought out to offend people?
Oh yeah,
Who do we want to offend tonight?
I'll tell you
Offend-
offline. I'll tell you
offend
offline.
Banshee.
I'll tell you offline who we probably would offend. anyways.
Offend Banshee. Go ahead. Take a shot at her.
I don't need to take a shot.
I
at
have
her.
nothing bad to say about the woman. Anyway, but you always
I
have
could,
something bad.
It's yesterday was Blackthorn's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr. Thorne.
Yeah,
You know, it's
or today. One of those. It was either yesterday or today. I can't remember.
I didn't see that come up on Facebook. I'll have to look again. So maybe it's today. Anyway,
Of course, then again, it might not be his birthday. He might have just had it. It showed up on Facebook. It was
he
his
might
birthday.
just wanted some cake.
Banshee wouldn't make him no cake.
Well,
Uh,
Banshee always makes him cake anytime he wants it.
But no, I had a
If
niece.
she wants to.
I had a niece, and I would send her a happy birthday thing, and it wasn't even her birthday. She had put the wrong birthday on her thing just to make her Facebook page. So
Did
it
she have
was
3 or
like-
4 birthdays a year?
So when it was like her real birthday, I would miss saying happy birthday because it wasn't her
Well,
birthday.
you know,
Or it was her birthday, but it wasn't.
that's one of the ways that
So I guess she has a Facebook birthday and a regular
that
birthday.
people could look up information on your hack into you. All your medical records and financial records, they go by your birthday, among other things, but that's one way they can get you. So maybe it's just smart not to put your real birthday on there.
Now, coming up in May 17th, a big card of action planned. It's a couple matches we've already planned out is Xavier Michaels to take on Landon Bradley.
That is going to be an excellent match.
Jason Xavier to take on Austin Cruz
And I
for the United
predict
States title.
these guys are going to be, when you take on either one of those guys, you're taking on future over feelings, over friends, over family, over anything. But you're taking on. I've got the feeling the X-Men are going to have each other's back in this.
And then we're going to have Matt
So it's
Starr
gonna
taking
even out.
on Matt Starr to take on Sean Hoodrich for the heavyweight title. Tag team champions should be back in the house. King James and Preston Adams should be back in the house. Tag team champions. Not sure exactly. I
I'm
know
sure
that Mike Cobb and JDV are wanting a shot at those titles, so
Oh, Once
that
again,
might
you're
be something
talking-
that we're looking at for
well,
that.
they did do wrestled Landon and Drew our last
Yeah.
show. So yeah, that'd be very worthy opponents. I don't care if they are no limit pro.
Another match that was a good match that I think we already showed it. Chris Hensley versus Larry Cooter.
I'm not sure if we did, but it was. Oh, we need to. We didn't. It is a match.
But Chris Hensley against Larry Cooter, we're going to bring that match back again at our next show.
Yeah. They wrestled in PWA Friday night, and Chris Hensley, kayfabe alert. That is the job of the fan favorite, the traditional baby face, to get this big pop from the crowd. And it is the job of the villain or the heel wrestler, the bad guy, to get a tremendous hatred and, everybody booing and shouting and threatening and all. I saw one of the most magnificent displays of a heel wrestler getting that what we call heat from the audience. And there were people, they were trying to take him outside and all. It was just great. And that was before the match ever started. It's worth it. That was worth the price of admission right there. It was like, well, what are you guys, you've already had the match. You had 10 or 15 minutes of all this great heat going on. And yet Cooter and Hensley took it to the top. Is over the top. I love them. I'm glad we're going to have them back. They've been wrestling each other off and on for years. They're two very accomplished men, and make no mistake, have no doubts. Larry Cooter can be the dirtiest player in the game if he wants to be. He just chooses to, I don't even know why, to please all you fans, and just chooses to try to abide by the rules. But I want to see the Tennessee Hangman just turn, and Chris Hensley just come at each other just like two big dogs right there, just snapping and growling all the way. Just it's fur flying, everything. There's not a lot of fur on these guys, particularly on Chris's head. But anyway, I love it. So we're going to have that's going to be worth coming. You should just plan on coming May 17th to see that match. Of course, there's going to be a bunch more, but see that match.
I was going to tell you about this next match, and then somebody.
Then I interrupted you.
And somebody decided to put their 2 cents worth in it before I even mentioned it. David Matthews.
Oh.
Stables. The luscious one is watching with interest because it seems to me Tim likes to stick his nose where you don't belong and help people like Scorpion win. Well, you do know I'm going to be.
If you call that help.
I was help.
He got the pinfall. I'm surprised David didn't. Did he put his hands on you while you were in the ring? Yeah. Did he check you for foreign objects or?
Well, here's the thing. You have David Matthews and Kenny South going to take on Adam Maddox and Kid Scorpion, and I'm going to be the special guest referee.
Are you going to pull shenanigans and whatnot?
I'm going to stay out of the way because
Scorpion, don't do this match. Cancel. Let Adam take him on by himself like he let you take him on. Don't let Tim Miner do this to you. I'm telling you.
Now, Kid Scorpion agreed to this match, wants this match with tables, ladders, and chairs, but do they not? I know that Scorpion might need a ladder to climb away from David Matthews because David Matthews and Kenny South, they're known for using chairs. I'm sure they know how to use a table also.
How about the ladder?
Actually, David Matthews don't know how to get away from a table.
Can they get up a ladder? Kid South get up a ladder. I'm not exactly sure about Matthews, but at the same time, do you dare go up a ladder with David Matthews standing underneath you, Kid Scorpion? I don't know. Of course, it's going to be a great addition to have Adam Maddox.
I've been threatened. Security? Where's my security at? Social Security?
He's not here tonight.
Yeah. David Matthews says he might accidentally hurt me.
Accidentally on purpose.
I'll make sure I'm not under a ladder that he climbs up.
Anyway,
he said he wasn't climbing the ladder. That was before he pranced across the ring with a clothesline.
I just love the way he does that splash. I give that a 10. It's poetry in motion.
Now, it would not be poetry in motion if he pranced across the ring and splashed me. That would not be a good look.
Would you DQ him? That happened with
What do you
Chase Manning. He didn't DQ in our last
usually
show.
there's not DQs on tables, ladders, and chairs matches.
They do if they touch the referee. They're not allowed to hurt the referee.
Well,
Well, that's my understanding. Unless you make the rules, so you better make that rule, or somebody's going to touch you. And it's going to be.
I'm going to put my
back
trust.
rub.
I'm going to put my trust in Kid Scorpion. Scorpion, he's laughing at you.
No.
You don't think Kid Scorpion can handle his own?
Oh,
Huh?
I think Kid Scorpion's going to do fine, and I think Adam Maddox is going to be a great partner. Kid Scorpion is a tag team specialist from years gone by. He's held more tag titles than probably anybody in the area with different partners, along with his brother and then several others. But what did you say originally that I started laughing at? Oh, you think, what did you say?
I said I put my trust in Kid
Oh,
Scorpion.
yeah. Yes.
And then
can
you
put
started
your-
laughing like
you
Kid
can-
Scorpion is not somebody I can trust in.
It's can he put his trust in you? That's what I was laughing at. Sorry, my mind.
Did
went
I not
blank
go to
there.
his corner and help him win a match?
Yeah, and I'm still wondering but you also let him get beat down. You put him in the ring with 300 pounders, and you
Now
let
you're
him
being
get beat
offensive.
down and didn't stop it. You and Austin Harris, all he could say is ring the bell, you find and suspend these guys. Bring help for the back. Quit telling me to ring the bell. Do something. Kid Scorpion's dying, and you're letting it happen right there. And you just, well, fellas, you need to stop that.
I'm saying
You
ring
gave
bell.
him-
Come on, guys, get off of
You
him.
were
I'm gonna
on the
start
ring
firing.
bell,
you.
too.
I'm gonna say fire. I'm gonna fire you.
Me ringing a bell does not help anything for Kid Scorpion
It
that
helps.
night.
It helps.
It drove him on. It just fired big old Ken South up. He was ready.
Remember, like the chicken hawk that heard the bell and start fighting on the Foghorn Leghorn? Every time you hear a bell,
I say,
that's it.
boy.
So every time you hit that bell, it makes them fight even more. So
I thought a chicken. That there's a chicken. Anyway, I love Foghorn Leghorn. I posted him on my Rusty Salyer Facebook page, an old cartoon of him. I just love it. Did that yesterday. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. Well, we're getting ready for another one. You could come just for that match. The hardcore legend, the tag team legend, Kid Scorpion tagging up with a veteran, but yet a man quite a bit younger than him, with Adam Maddox going up against two big guys. And we have seen Ken South in some major battle. When he turns into Ken the Bruiser, you just need to run, or you better be fighting and fight for you're going to need a table, ladder, and chair. And then, of course, David Matthews.
David Matthews is a moron. I'm gonna just have to say that right now because he just said Rusty's the only one who makes sense.
I give you a 10 for that, David. No matter if I don't mean to make fun of you in any way, because I have really come to enjoy and admire your wrestling skills over the past few months here. It's just great. You put on the show. The people come to see you, and whether they come to see you get hurt or come to see you, I'll say frisk somebody or prance across the ring or do some of those devastating power moves you do. And he does some of those big power moves. Anyway, yeah, he's right. This is one of my genius areas. I can see the good in David
Genius.
Matthews that some people can't.
He's the head of the moron club. Rusty is.
Just borderline moron.
We call our managers at Publix MICs, managers in charge, but we have a new meeting
Morons in
here,
charge.
morons in charge.
That's probably what you mean there. You are in
I
management.
do. I have
there.
said, no, I'm not in management, but I have
I think
said
you are. You just
I
don't
have-
know. You're
I
a
have said
moron
that
and don't
before.
know it.
I have said that before to an old grocery manager that's no longer there.
You are, of course, present company excluded. Does Andy work with you?
Publix, yeah, he works.
And
At,
Drew works with you too?
Drew doesn't work at Publix anymore.
Okay.
He was at the one closest by my house, but he quit and went somewhere else.
And Brian Birkin, he's somehow associated
He
with
is
public.
a Bridgeford smoked sausage.
You keep talking.
Bridgeford snacks. You know,
You
like
keep
the,
talking about these snacks, and David
like-
Matthews is not only going to call in, he's going to come over.
But
You got any of them
he works
snacks around?
for Bridgeford, and he delivers. But now, what's his name? One of I forgot. I forgot to do when we started the show off. I forgot to hit @highlight. I did that, and now we've got everybody in here.
Oh, good.
I need to start doing that at the beginning of the show. You need to start reminding me
At highlight. Okay.
because it's not giving the notification out until I do that.
Who was on here first before you hit that?
Julie was there,
Julie, remind us that, please. At highlight.
and
Oh, man.
but now I plan on giving a tag team title match to Mike Cobb and JDV. That's my
Worthy
plan.
opponents.
Against King James and Preston Adams. I'll remember it.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to help.
My mind's functioning right. I've got
My
a paper.
mind forgets things.
Oh, I know you call people names and kind of mess up stuff. I have to go in and edit some video sometimes because
what?
you use names that you're not supposed to use that would stooge off some other stuff. But I
If
don't
they
even mention
have-
it here.
If
Don't mention it
somebody
here.
has 4 names that I know them all 4 of their names, that you got to give me the break. If somebody has another one,
Oh,
person
there's
I
a-
know has got 3 names, you need to
Yeah,
give
but
me
there
the
was
break.
one. There was one that you really messed up on.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that's got 3 names.
he's got to have.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He needs to help me out and not have so many names. I've talked to him about it. I've apologized because I did call one of our, I'll say wrestlers. Yeah, he was a wrestler. I called him by his shoot name or whatever, and it's like I didn't mean to do that, but he saw it. I understand. He had a great attitude about it. He said, "I'm just glad that you call my name at all, that I get to be part." What a great! I mean, really, that's what it is. You do realize, folks. I don't want to break your bubble, and I don't want to diminish these guys that wrestle for us and other places. They're in it for the love of the game. There's not enough money that the big money's in WWE and and AEW or whatever. There a few other big independents. They don't get paid enough to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 or 4 hours just to come to
Okay, David Matthews says, "Don't
So
make me
give 'em
call
props.
in and embarrass you on live, Miner." I tell you what, I don't have my stuff set up to take a call in tonight, but we got another show this week.
We need David on here.
When we're on this upcoming week, I'm not sure if it'll be Tuesday or Thursday. It'll be one of the two. I'll
You know
set
your
everything up.
phone is behind.
Yeah,
I just now looked at the picture
Yeah,
on there and a picture on the screen.
yeah. This is it's a 30-second delay, just in case you
Okay.
cuss or something.
Well, blank.
Or that way they can catch it. But actually, we have nobody to catch it, so there's nobody over there at the computer to stop it.
Well,
But
if our technician was here, he wouldn't be over there.
oh no, he'd be over
He'd be
playing
eating
video
and playing video games, and you go out to smack him like a horsefly.
games.
I'm still not sure you didn't do that. You just told everybody that. Yeah, that's
But,
how you hide the body.
But Tuesday or Thursday, whenever we're back on, I got to look at my softball schedule this week because I have to do a live stream for softball. You can call in during the softball game. It is girls softball,
Can David play that?
probably just like the girls.
Well, we're having more and more of the female athletes refusing to compete against male athletes. There was
I don't think they'd be afraid of David Matthews though.
I can't call the name, but because I can't remember, but there's a female fencer who refused to fence against the male trans person, and she got expelled from the whole thing. She lost all her honors and everything, the way I understand it. And it's like he comes and she kneels down, takes a knee to say, "I give up, I quit," which they can do in the middle of the match too. But anyway, he comes and he's standing there, and he looks like he's 6 feet tall, weighs 200 pounds or more. Looks like Andy standing there, and it's like, well, no wonder. And she's just a little, I'm sure she's fit. And what she
Now
was.
we did have David
She's a
Matthews
champion.
as a women's champion.
And there's
Now, but even though we did that, do not believe we don't want men and women's sports at all.
Wrestling is a different world.
Yeah,
It's a different world.
we've seen.
That was totally, that's a different world. That was giving the people what they wanted to see, whether they wanted to see it or not.
I mean,
And David's a man.
yeah.
You know, he doesn't.
But he
don't-
he
yeah.
identifies as
He
a
just
man,
won
I
that
think.
championship, and that's what these guys are doing. They're
I
going
think he
out
does
here
now anyway.
saying they're women so they can win over a woman. Of course, he lost to a woman
He
too.
lost to him.
No offense there, David, but I'd have lost to her too. But then there's a professional frisbee golf, which is a big deal. At our summer camping program, the church, they've got a frisbee golf course now. It's full, I believe, 18 holes, and we might need to go play sometime. I'm not big on it, but I've done it some in the past. But anyway, she is refused, and she's got all kinds of sponsors and everything. Just walked off, said, "I'm not competing against a man in this." So I don't think it's right. You can think whatever you want to think. Men against men, women against women. If we want to have trans leagues, let the 3 or 4 trans athletes go against each other, fine. But it's like,
Yeah. Yep.
just think what you could have done if you played basketball in a women's
Oh
league.
yeah, I could say.
I mean, look what you do with the men's league.
some of my AAU teams I had. I could have taken those teams and went.
Well, you did take your niece, and
My niece played with the boys.
she
You know,
beat
that was the
everybody.
opposite.
of course, she was cute and she beat everybody, so they accepted her. But anyway, you got records in the adult league.
Oh yeah.
that you did when you played the, what is it, AAU or whatever there it is, traveling league.
Our city league, men's league.
And you set records there, and the number of points scored and whatever. And think what you'd have done if you'd have switched
yeah.
over to women's. There's no way they could play against that. But that isn't the thing. The guys that are winning are not doing that. Will Thomas, the swimmer who went against Riley Gaines, he was like number 500 or something like that in men's. He was way down on the list, may not have been 500, but he wasn't even near winning any kind of a championship. But he goes there and he ties her for the championship. And anyway, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I need
you,
to be quiet.
you were referring to the men's league where I scored 59 points in a game.
Yeah,
And
congratulations.
yeah, I was hitting threes better than Curry, and Curry wouldn't even thought of back then. I was before. I think Curry wasn't even born at that time. No, he might not have been. I'm that old, but it was back when I was around 25 years old. When I
See, and I wish
did
some
that.
of you younger guys, we'll say like a Luke or whoever, could see. I wished Andrew, our youth pastor, could have seen you play back then. It was like, wow.
Oh, remember I used to go to
being
camp
a
and
game
just,
you
I'd go
coached.
to I'd go to
Yeah, I
camp
ran
and
you
just
off the
dominate.
court.
He ran me off the court. First time I met Rusty, we're gonna go to this story. I was at youth camp. I was a teenager, and we're out there playing basketball. We're dominating. I'm dominating the court. And the way we play is, if you win, you stay on the court, and the next, whoever has next comes out and plays you. Well, my team kept winning, so the same ones were still out there all day long. So Rusty comes over and says,
You
"Okay,
were also
guys."
not a camper.
Yeah,
You were an
no,
adult.
I was a camper at that time. I was
You
still a
sure?
camper. Yes, I was a
Okay, I
camper. I was
apologize.
17, 18 years old at that time. And Rusty comes over and says, "Y'all need to get off the court and let other people play." So he runs us off the court to let all these people that didn't even know how to shoot a basketball, they were sitting there picking their nose under the basket. You know
Some
what I'm
of them
talking about?
never had played.
They're
before,
sitting there,
obviously.
and, like the girls are sitting there, yeah, I'm talking to each other under the basket. And I'm like, dude, you just ran us off the court for these people just to take this area and do nothing. So we went back out there and ran him off the court after he walked off. I never told him that. But
The man in charge, Randall McCarty, I was his assistant right underneath him, and he told me to do that. And so
Well,
I went out and did
after
that.
he
Just
ran us-
like if we were,
I had never met Rusty before. You were still in East, I guess you was in East
that was the
Tennessee.
first time we met each other.
And I was like, who does this guy think he
I think I was
is?
in West Tennessee at that
West
time.
Tennessee. And then he came to our church. And the first time I saw him at our church, I said, "Oh no, not this guy. They're gonna let this guy come and work at our church." But I got past that. I didn't hold no
Well,
grudge against you. Aren't you glad I don't hold grudges?
Underneath that umbrella, you got to rise to great glory in the church world. it helped you get to become a youth pastor and other things, and we had a tremendous. God just gave us tremendous success there in Gallatin.
And then we started coming to wrestling shows because you were a youth pastor in Gallatin, and I was what do we call it, a sponsor, youth sponsor.
Yeah, youth sponsor.
And one of our young people that came to church was Eric Brown. Of course, he passed away. We ended up having the Eric Brown Memorial Show for years for SWA. But Eric Brown had just started training with Frank Griffin, who's loose cannon. And he just started training with those guys. And they were 13, 14 years old. And they just started training and wrestling.
I think Cannon was probably 15 or 16, but Eric was 13 or 14.
But they were wrestling at SWA in Gallatin. And Eric comes in and says, "Hey, y'all need to come." I worked with Eric's dad at Heidi
He
Myers.
was dating a young lady in our church. He came right regular to our youth services.
But I knew Eric for years because his dad worked with me at Heidi Myers Furniture. So he would come up to the store and I'd see him. He played baseball. And we talked wrestling all the time.
He came to our wrestling long after Eric passed on.
But see,
Him and his niece.
So me and Eric always talked about wrestling. Well, Eric, when he came back to church, he's like, "Tim, you got to come watch this." I'm training to wrestle. Right now I'm managing. I'm not in the ring yet, but you need to come watch it. It's a good show. So I went and watched it. And then I went back to Rusty and said, "Hey, Rusty, you need to come watch this." So finally got Rusty on board. And that's how we started.
The first match I went to, Eric was wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, with SWA. And it had been something I hadn't been to wrestling in a while. I had a little hiatus there, watched it on TV and stuff. Anyway, it just opened up the world. And then it wasn't very long after that Tim Scruggs began to recognize real talent.
Yeah. Sitting out there in the chairs.
We're part of the show sitting
Well,
in
it's
the
funny
audience.
how
And then he
everything.
moved Tim to the front.
Well, it's funny how everything evolved. I went to train to wrestle because I was going to get into the wrestling business as a wrestler up in Bethpage with
Summers.
Summers organization. And while I was training, I separated my shoulder. But before that happened, I refereed a couple matches. They didn't have a referee one night. They said, "Hey, can you referee?" I said, "Well, sure can." And they came back and got me to talk, and I refereed that night. And we went back to SWA, and they didn't have a referee. They had one referee that night, and the main referees were out. And Tim Scruggs sent someone up to me while we're sitting in the audience and says, "Hey," he said, "Tim Scruggs wants to talk to you downstairs." So I go downstairs.
Were you worried? Were you thinking, "Oh no, what have I done?"
And I went downstairs. He said, "Hey, I heard that you've refereed before. We've only got this one referee here tonight. Is there any way that you could referee some matches?" I said, "Oh, sure. You got a shirt? I don't have a referee shirt with me." "Oh, yeah, actually, I did. We wore referee shirts in the audience. So I had a referee shirt already on."
3 refs.
So
Ringside refs.
So the person that was there refereed the first match. I went out in the second match and refereed the match, and they were watching downstairs, I guess, because they had a monitor. Went downstairs, went back downstairs, and Tim said, "You're refereeing every match tonight." After that, the other referee was obsolete. After that,
Evidently, David Lee Milam wasn't there.
It wasn't David. David was not there tonight.
He was the.
I remember who was there. I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
I don't want to embarrass him.
Oh, I already know who it is.
But they were like, "We want you to you're gonna referee every match tonight," and and then all of a sudden, from there on out, Tony Falk was like, "Hey, I want you to come referee for us," and it was like, I got the referee for Lawler.
I'll give you a cheeseburger.
He called me Timmy Minor. We're doing a show in Springfield with Jerry the King Lawler. He gonna wrestle Ashley Hudson in a stretcher match. We got a real stretcher too, and an ambulance. You come down here, we're gonna have the cat. You're gonna referee all my matches.
And he refereed the Cats match.
The cat's gonna take on Athena.
He's got pictures.
You might get to touch them in the privates.
Did he say that? Because you did.
But,
well, accidentally. And
so,
Lawler didn't beat him up. Didn't give you that, fist off the second rope or anything.
So I went down there and refereed for them for several. But then we were, I was moving along as a referee.
Miss Tony Falk. I need to see.
Doing a good job as a referee. The one night our announcer had to leave that we had. And it was Loose Cannon's dad.
Yeah, Frank Griffin Sr.
Yeah, and he had to leave. And I'm guessing he was starting, it was something he just did because they needed an
He
announcer.
always said he hated doing it, but I never believed that.
But he had to leave one night.
He wanted to be around his
And they're
son.
like, well, we don't have an announcer. He had to leave. So I picked up the microphone and announced the winner of the
and
match.
said, "Ladies and gentlemen,
and they're
are
like,
you ready?"
and then that's when Tim Scruggs was like, why haven't I had you doing that before? I said, because you've had me referee. I can't do both. And then
That went on for the referee went on for at least a year there.
and around that time was the same time that we were getting ready to do the Eric Brown Memorial Show. Eric Brown had passed
Yeah.
away, and we're going to do the Eric Brown Memorial Show. And Tim Scruggs, I told him, I said, hey, I've got the video equipment to do a video production. If you want to try to go on TV, I said I can produce it, and so we worked together and got SWA on TV. That's when I started doing the video recording, and then I started off with somebody else doing commentary other than you, which was a mistake.
Well, I was going to say his name.
Uh,
No, okay, we won't do that.
We had a couple. I had a couple that sat in and didn't do very well, and that's like when I said, "Okay, Rusty, I need you to come over here."
And we'd been
and do commentary.
doing the youth ministry together for some years then, probably 5 years or so. So and worked back and forth during the youth services. So we had some chemistry going on and got along so well. And anyway, I'd had bypass surgery. And the first thing that I went to that I got out, when I actually got out to go somewhere, is Tim and Davey came pick me up and took me to SWA Wrestling. That was over in the Civic Center that night, wasn't it? Or something?
I think it was VFW.
It was
Hall,
VFW Hall. Anyway, they took me there. And then, anyway, I just thank you.
But anyway, so we started doing video, and I started announcing, and that's where everything's. Then around 2004, we decided to embark on our own wrestling show in Murfreesboro.
So that was, we started around
AWF.
what year, 2000 with SWA?
Yeah, around 2000 when we were there.
Yeah.
So it's been about 25 years that we've been in the business, pretty much. But
Yeah, I remember the day. It's interesting. I no nothing bad feelings. I would go ahead and buy my ticket to come in and go help you do commentating. And the night when Miss Teresa Scruggs said, "You don't have to pay." Well, you didn't say that last week. I said, okay, well, why not? I don't mind. That's, I get more by, well, she said you're part of the show now. Oh, do you know what that did to a wrestling fan to actually be part of a wrestling show? And then later, Tim Scruggs made that very real, particularly the night we left VFW Hall. We were the part of the family when we moved to Lafayette the next week. That was tremendous. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Tim Scruggs, and all you other guys. And Tim had that good philosophy we talked about so many times. I thought we might have, 12 matches or 50?
Yeah.
If you showed up and you obeyed his rules, you got to wrestle. And he let all the young guys wrestle. Matter of fact, LT Falk cut his teeth at RWF. SWA, mostly against Kid Scorpion.
Ricochet.
And
Ricochet used to
was
come
there.
with Big Daddy J and Devon
Day.
Day,
One that screamed.
Ty Blade.
Yeah, Ty Blade.
They would come down with the Big Daddy J, and see, a lot of those were, at that time, Ricochet was 13, 14 years old, 15 years old, and a lot of wrestling companies would not let him wrestle because he was too young.
And Tim did, and you get to all these guys who don't. I understand there's insurance thing or whatever, but most of these veterans started when they were 16. Anyhow, that was just a real good time. We started the school for them or whatever and trained them, and then they got to first they were put against each other, and then they started wrestling, the big boys, and then he had current wrestlers that were in the area, independent wrestlers, and then he had the older guys like a Demon Seed, Mike Flower, who had been in WCW or whatever it was before his WCW. Had a big day. He let all these old guys that nobody wanted anymore.
Turn your mic towards me so I can see. Okay, I thought it sounded like
All these old guys that he didn't want anymore, people didn't want to book anymore because they'd forgotten about him, really, come in and they'd do a great show. And then in the current wrestlers, some of the best matches as far as the blood matches stuff was Doodle, Dirty White Boy #1. Please don't take me off the air. That is his wrestling name. And we're close friends. He takes no offense to that. Matter of fact, he wears it with pride. And Donnie Fargo, not the fabulous Fargos. He's a local Donnie Fargo out of Kentucky. And wow, they they just had some tremendous matches, and from wrestling to total brutality to bloodbaths. Fargo passed out one night. Kayfabe alert. I remember in latter years, I always wondered. I asked Tim Scruggs about it. I said, did he really, was that part of the show? Or no, he said he bled so much he passed out. It's like, oh, okay. And that's when he would, let me in on it.
Oh, we had nights of Gypsy Joe, legendary Gypsy Joe.
We saw him many nights. Hit me.
I was in the ring referee, and he
say.
pulls me down in the middle of the thing. Made me get to do the rowboat with the wrestlers in the ring.
Bring that move back, please. I
And
love
then,
that rowboat. Maybe Larry Cooter could do that if he's ever in a tag team again. He'll remember it.
Well, it is time for us to go, Rusty.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for going down memory lane. Next time, let's talk a little bit about more of our experiences in the Doodles, the Sumner wrestling too. I enjoyed that era.
Well, I'm gonna head over here.
Well, be sure and be at PWA next Friday night. A lot of big matches there. You come by and see me if you're there. Also, remember our Addictive Tattoos, our sponsor, and they're down on the square in Gallatin. And, of course, TMTV, if you want an inexpensive live streaming TV show and on-demand, our TV service and on-demand, you can contact Tim Miner for that. We thank you for being with us this week. Be sure to watch the final March Madness final Monday night and be pulling for Houston to beat Florida so that Andy doesn't beat me. Good night from Tim and Rusty.